So I'm assuming you clicked on this video because you are on the brink of burnout or you are currently experiencing burnout. If that's the case, or you're just curious, this is the video for you because I'm going to talk to you about my process for recovering from burnout. So if you are interested in these tips, make sure you keep on watching and subscribe to this channel. So burnout and overwhelm is definitely one of the downsides of entrepreneurship, but anybody can experience it. But I know for entrepreneurs, oftentimes burnout can hit us a little harder and oftentimes never in the right season, right? It always comes when you have just a million things to do. So as a full-time business owner and business coach myself, I wanted to share with you a couple of the things that I do to have a smooth bounce back from burnout and ensure that I fully recuperate. So one of the first things that's really important when you notice that you're deep in burnout is disconnect as much as possible. For me, that looks like no social media, turning my out of office on my email, airplane mode on my phone if need be. And the reason for that is I notice when I stay connected, my overwhelm and burnout gets so much worse. Like I am still too accessible for people to ask me for things, people's requests, people dumping their problems on me. When you're already at burnout, like you can't take much on. It's literally the prime example of pouring from an empty cup. Now, only you know how long you can do this, right? It depends on your business and your family and all of those things. But I definitely suggest, even if it's just for an hour where you just have complete alone time, you're in a sterile environment, take that space. There's nothing worse than piling on more stuff on top of the burnout. And if you can't fully disconnect from work or email, at least try to disconnect from social media. So one of the things that I've done, considering my whole business revolves around social media, is on my Chrome browser and my bookmarks bar, I literally bookmarked the social media pages I need to go to. So I have a support group for my clients on Facebook. I've bookmarked that. I have a free Facebook group where I go and post content. I've bookmarked that, and I bookmark our scheduling tools. There is no need for me, especially when I'm burned out, to scroll through the home feed and see what everybody's doing. Even for Twitter, I bookmark my mentions page so I can just reply to people who comment to me, but I'm not really taking in a lot of content when I don't want to. So those are just some of the things that have helped me to stay plugged in for what I need to be plugged in for, i.e. my paying clients, without having to worry about being just more overwhelmed by the news and what this person's doing in their business and what's going on here and blah, like all of that. So disconnecting is one of the very first steps. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes right here. The second thing I want you to do, and what really helps me, is getting my feelings out. And getting my feelings out looks a couple different ways, right? And it depends on what works best for you and what kind of support you have access to. So getting your feelings out, whenever we're burned out, we typically have emotions associated with that. Sometimes we have the feelings of sadness and anger because something didn't go our way, we got rejected from something, we didn't hit our sales goals. Sometimes we have guilt because we still have a lot of work to do and we feel like we're taking time away. Well, there is just so many different things that come with that, and I was 100% the person that just kept all of that in, and I've learned the beauty of getting that out. So this could look like venting to a friend if you have one. This is why I love my coaching program so much, because I created a community of women who are now friends with each other. So where they previously didn't have people in their lives who understood what they were going through in business, they now do. This could look like venting to a counselor, a therapist, or a life coach. I was working with the life coach for about 6 months or so, and I had access to her through a voice memo app, and that was always really great just to get things out. And of course on our coaching calls, just to talk through different feelings I had and having someone to hold space. Counseling, of course, therapy, like again, if you have some deep-seated things that you want to get out, or even not some deep-seated things, because oftentimes you go to therapy and counseling just knowing you want support, but you don't really know what that looks like, just having somebody to talk to. And if none of those things are accessible to you right now, journaling. Grab a notebook and just write to your heart's desire. No one's going to see it but you. So just get those feelings out, get them out of your head, out of your body. You may notice if you are one that keeps a lot of things in, you start to have physical reactions. Now you start to have chest pains and you start to have reflux and have all these aches. So start getting that stuff out so you're not keeping that negative energy inside of you. It's going to be really important in this season. And, you know, I would just make sure that you are being completely honest about how you're feeling. Like, no one wants to say out loud, like, I feel like a failure, or I feel like, you know, I'm in the wrong path. But like, sometimes it is freeing to just get it out, you know. And I know we say there's power in the tongue, and be careful what you say about X, Y, and Z. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, in these intimate, rare moments when you have all of these feelings in your heart, getting them out actually helps to reprogram, because now when you say it, you start to reevaluate what you said. You start to say it, look at it differently. You're like, no, well, I know that I'm being emotional, but I just want to get this out. Okay, now I can rewire and reprogram my brain for what I really believe, right? It's just really getting those negative emotions out is going to be pivotal for your journey. Now, I'm not saying every single day for the rest of this year go around saying you're a failure. Like, no, this is a once every blue moon, but for the most part, this is going to actually help your regular daily affirmations actually work, because there are people who say affirmations who feel like they don't work because in their head they're immediately refuting the affirmation. And that's because they're not in touch with their feelings. So that's where I'm going with that one. The next thing I want you to do is release resentment and judgment. And these, you may not have both, but you might have one. And judgment in particular is going to be really crucial here, because you might judge yourself. You may say, I'm not supposed to feel this way. I'm not supposed to think this way, or X, Y, and Z. And then now you're holding judgment against yourself, and you're just making it harder for you to move forward. This is why, again, having a safe space to talk about how you're feeling, get these things out, recognizing that these are temporary experiences, is going to be so helpful for you. The resentment piece is also key, and I bring this up for entrepreneurs in particular because it could be really easy to get online and see what everybody else is seemingly doing or their seeming success, and then start to have this resentment because we're not there yet. And we all have heard, like, everything that glitters ain't gold, everything we see online ain't even true. But again, even though we subconsciously know that, it's like we still start to develop these negative feelings that again slow us down. So practicing the art of like releasing that is going to be really, really important in your recovery process. The next thing I want you to do, now that we've gotten through some of the deep stuff, is show yourself some extra love, right? And I want this to be whatever makes sense for you. So showing yourself some extra love as you recover from burnout is a personal thing. We all have our own little things. For some of us, this could look like spending a little extra time in the shower, having a great bath, getting a massage, basically sleeping all day. Whatever it is that you could do that makes sense for yourself, please do. And in this instance, it's really not about money or doing things. It's really about what's actually going to replenish you. And that's the beauty of showing yourself extra love. We're really trying to think about what are some things that we can do to pour back into ourselves versus something that would take more out of us. Like maybe going on a girls trip takes a lot of energy out of you because you're an introvert and you need to be social. And so you end up coming back from that trip worse off than you felt because it wasn't replenishing for you. It was fun, but it wasn't really replenishing for you. So some of the things that I like to do in terms of showing myself a little extra love, if I can, I love getting hot stone massages. That's been a little bit more difficult lately because the spas are booked up. But if you have a little extra coin, going to a place like that and just getting a good massage, especially hot stones, are just, I just feel so refreshed after those. Even the aromatherapy massages. If you're doing stuff at home, I love using aromatherapy in the shower and in my bath. My personal favorite is anything with like eucalyptus in it. That really helps me to just feel uplifted and rejuvenated. But you can always get things with like lavender and tea tree and stuff like that. This definitely looks like making my favorite meal, having my favorite warm tea afterwards, just like really just being more intentional versus like normal, just rushing through the routine so that I can get to bed and rushing through the routine in the morning so I can get up and get to my day, but just taking a little extra time to just like care for myself. So the next thing I want you to think about that really helps me as well is your nutrition. I know that for many of us, when we're overwhelmed and burned out, this is where we sometimes fall off the wagon with our nutrition. We may binge eat, overeat, or indulge in our favorite, sweet food, sugary foods, fatty foods, whatever. do whatever makes you happy. As long as it's a conscious decision, do what makes you happy. But as you're starting to recover, you do want to be more intentional with your nutrition, because the foods that you're consuming very much impact your energy level. So you may say, well, mentally I feel like, okay, I'm ready to get back to it, but I just feel so sluggish and fatigued. Well, what we're actually eating can impact that. And let me just say, I do not have the best diet. Like, I try to meal prep. Like, this is where I'm really putting in a lot of personal work. But I will say that every time I've noticed that I've eaten bad for like a couple days in a row, I feel that. Like, I feel it physically. I feel sluggish. I feel weighed down. I feel even more anxious, honestly. And so now, if I feel like I'm really overwhelmed and burned out, this is when I know, okay, I need to either meal prep or place a meal prep order. I'm going and getting my green juices or making them myself. I'm making sure to take my vitamins, okay, your daily vitamins, your supplements, whatever supplements you need to take. Maybe it's collagen, maybe it's a multivitamin, maybe you need some extra vitamin C, but you really want to restore your nutrition. So even this week, the past couple weeks have just been really insane, but I've been doing such a good job with taking my vitamins and making sure that I'm watching what I eat. I mean, I still indulge, but not too crazy. I am having my green juices every day. I've been having wheatgrass shots in the mornings and having my celery juice a couple times a week. Like, I notice that I feel a lot different, even though I still have a lot on my plate. So don't ignore your nutrition. If you can't do anything else on this list, the nutrition is going to be so important for you. So tying into that, sleep. Get plenty of sleep. Sleep is so imperative to the recovery process. Our bodies is literally repairing itself during sleep. That's why when we get sick, we literally sleep so much. And I'm just like shifting because, you know, losing light here. But we sleep so much because our body needs to recuperate. So I wanted to share with you a sleep supplement I've been taking. It's a melatonin gummy from the brand Lunaki. This is what it looks like. So I will say that I was gifted this from the company. Not being paid for this or anything. They did send me this complimentary. And I wanted to share this with you because whenever I am burned out or overwhelmed, sleep can be difficult. For me, my brain just doesn't shut off. It's always running, and I get in bed and like I'm physically tired, but mentally like I'm not there, so I can't sleep. And then I end up feeling horrible because now I'm tossing and turning most of the night, and then I wake up and have to get up and I'm feeling a mess. And I was kind of like nervous about sleep supplements for a really long time because I felt like I don't want to get addicted to them, or I don't want to feel drowsy the next day. So when this company reached out, I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try their melatonin gummies. And I really, really like them. Like, first of all, they actually taste good. I'm sensitive to taste. They taste good. They very much help with sleep. I'm typically in bed within an hour of taking these. So take this about an hour before you get ready to go to bed. And the next day, I actually feel refreshed. And I've even taken these on nights where I had to get up at 5 a.m. for the gym because I do personal training twice a week. I've even taken these on those nights, and I was like, okay, I'm about to see if I'm feeling like extra sluggish. And like, I don't have any after effects. I don't feel like I have to shake anything off or feel extra sluggish. So I'm gonna put the link in my description box if you want to try these gummies out. Gummies are all natural. You get 5 milligrams of melatonin in here. You get 60 supplements in here, and the serving size is 1. So 1 bottle will last you for 2 months. I'm gonna again link the link down below, but I encourage you, if you have some sleep concerns or you just want to try something new to have more of a refreshing night's sleep, check these gummies out. But I definitely have been taking them as of late, and I have a lot of vlogs coming for you guys really soon to talk to you about all of the cool things that's happening over here that's causing me to feel overwhelmed. These gummies, they're coming in handy, right? So with that being said, get plenty of sleep. Try to stick to your nighttime routine as much as you can. Try to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. They say 7 to 8, but for me 6 actually works. So anywhere from 6 to 8, hours of sleep at minimum, so that you can feel refreshed and ready to go. Speaking of refreshed, okay, how many of us, when we are overwhelmed, our spaces get junky? Whether it's your desk or your room or your whole house, like it just seems to happen. And so now I just have this routine where even if I'm feeling just how I'm feeling, I still make an effort to clean up. And I always start with my bedroom first because that's where I lay my head, and I cannot sleep in a cluttered room. But cleaning up your clutter helps to clear your mind. Like literally, clutter is a reflection of what's happening in your mind. So cleaning up your space can be therapeutic. So turn on your favorite movie. I actually like to play YouTube vlogs in the background when I'm cleaning. It depending upon the time of day, I'll even turn on a fun playlist, like whatever is going to get you energized and get going. But clean up your clutter. And if you're a really disciplined person, make this a part of your daily routine where you spend 10 to 15 minutes a day just kind of resetting your home or your office so that it never actually gets a certain way. Again, I'm not there yet. I'm not perfect, okay? So I need to have dedicated cleaning rituals when I am really burnt out. And typically when I'm not burnt out, things stay really neat and orderly. But when I'm stressed, when I'm working, when I'm overwhelmed, like it's a mess. So clean your house. Clean your house, okay? Clean your house, and when you're done, light a candle, you're gonna feel so much better. And I know you're probably like, okay, well, if I'm overwhelmed because of business, how is this gonna help? I don't know the scientific explanation for this, but it just does. Trust me on it. Try it and let me know how it goes. I only have 2 more quick tips for you. If you have questions on anything I'm saying, please comment them down below. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. But I want you to practice presence. I've talked on this channel before about meditation. I have a video on my meditation journey. I will link it somewhere. But meditation for me is so key during these times because it forces you to be present. It forces you to practice mindfulness. I've mentioned that I use the Insight Timer app for meditations, but you can find guided and non-guided meditations here on YouTube. For others, a lot of people I know, they'll either do their prayer separately or pair prayer with meditation. There is no one way to do any of these things. Meditation is all about just being still and clearing your mind. And what I found during moments of burnout is this is where I also can get sparks of ideas and creativity that will actually help me with the burnout and help me to come out of it, because it gets me re-energized and re-excited for new things. So whenever I meditate during, especially these types of times, I have some kind of notebook or notepad just nearby so that if I get some kind of spark, I'll write it down. So a lot of people tend to think that okay, if you get a thought during meditation, you're doing it wrong. That's incorrect. If you're doing meditation correctly, you are going to get hits. You are going to get either clarity or an idea or a solution or something. If you're brand new to meditation, you're like, well, that's never happened to me. Keep going. It's a part of the evolution within the process. But don't forget about your quiet moments, your meditation routines, your presence. We become really stressed out and overwhelmed because we're either living in the future or we're living in the past. We're either reliving things that didn't work out, that upset us, X, Y, and Z, or living in the future. We're thinking about things coming up, deadlines and projects and clients. Practicing presence is going to help you to get still and get that anxiety out of your body. And my last tip is when you are feeling ready to go, right? Like you've done these things to love on yourself and pamper yourself and just refuel your energy and your inner being. When it's time to go back into work, instead of just going right back to that big pile of work that you left, you want to create a new plan of action. And if you want a whole video on this plan of action, let me know down in the comments. But some of the things that I think about when I'm going back to work is, okay, I know I have a lot on my plate. What are my actual priorities? What are the top 3 things I need to get done? And when do they need to get done by? And what do they actually encompass? And anything else is not a priority. It either gets pushed back, delegated to somebody else, or it gets canceled. There are so many projects I have on what I call my back burner dashboard in my project manager system, where these things are just either really not important right now or they're just not going to move the needle. And they get pushed back. As entrepreneurs, a lot of our overwhelm comes from us doing busy work, things that are not really driving revenue in our business. And either we consciously know that they won't, or we don't know that they won't. And if it's something that you want to do that you don't know if it's going to drive revenue or not, you have to go back and actually look at your analytics and your numbers and see what really actually brings new customers to your business, right? And so that helps you to figure out what to prioritize. And if you're at a point in your business where you have priorities other than revenue, then that means you should have a team, right? Where you now have people that you can delegate to. So stop putting all that stuff on your plate. Really think about who things can get delegated to. So that's how I go back. I really think about what really needs to be prioritized. Let's reprioritize. Let's assess these self-made deadlines. Let's assess if these projects really need to happen. What can get pushed off to somebody else? What can I hire a contractor for 30 days to work on, and then move forward from there. If you are interested in more of my content, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Check the description box for links to my social media accounts. I'm active literally everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things, so that we can stay connected. And also my business is linked down below as well if you're interested in coaching with me. With that, I will talk to you all in the next video. Have a great day.